Hi everybody, this is Tina with Loving Life's Little Blessings, and welcome to the Project Life mini-series. And today we're going to talk about photos, and we're going to talk about them in several different videos. So I have had a lot of you guys asking questions specifically about photos. And so what I decided to do is, just like last week when we were doing our series, there's going to be several different videos, and I'm going to break the information up into those specific videos. I think as of right now there'll be probably three. Three seems like a good number. So we're going to start with the very basics, and that is how to get the photos. So you're going to have to take them somehow. And so I want to share with you guys what my photo taking equipment looks like and why it works for me. Now, last year I did not use my point and shoot. So right here I have two cell phones. This is my husband's cell phone. This is my cell phone. And then I have two cameras. Last year, this year for 2013, I did not use my point and shoot. And that was because remember, as we talked about last week, keeping the end in mind, my main goal was just to get a photo a day. And because I really was not just one photo a day, but to have at least one photo a day. And because I was not used to taking photos like that, what I decided is it would be better for me to just worry about my cell phone because it's always with me. And if I knew that it was always going to be with me, I would always have access to taking a photo. So I'm a big fan of taking photos on cell phones. I have a smartphone, and it's a fairly new phone. I mean, I just recently got it, but it has a flash that is really, really bright. So I just have, I find that most cell phones these days take really great photos. So this has a camera on the back, and then it also has a front-facing camera. But the camera on the back has, that is a bright light. It's a bright flash, and so that's really nice. And then again, it has the front facing camera, and so I felt like this would be the best tool for me to have, would be use my cell phone as my main camera. And then my husband's phone, this is actually the phone that I had before I got my smartphone, and this phone actually takes really great photos. The only thing is that if you take photos at night, it doesn't have a flash, and so they come out a little bit darker. So this was our main photo taking equipment. And for this phone, it has a little tiny, I think it's in here. Is it in here? No. It has a little tiny chip. I don't know where it's at. See, my husband always deals with all of that. It has a little, did I leave the chip in here? Oh, it's in here. So it has a little tiny chip that goes into the camera, and that's where all the photos are. And so when I tell him I need photos, he just grabs this for me, and I put it into the computer, and that's how I transfer all my photos. So this next year, for 2014, I've decided to use my point and shoot more. This is a really brand new camera. I've only used it very few times. I got it and just didn't end up using it as much. So this next year, I've decided I have 3 batteries for this camera, and I have a little case, and I've decided to use it more. I'm now in the habit of taking photos a lot more. This is my work camera. This is the camera that I use to do all of my work for my website, for the photos that you guys see. This is the camera that I use, and so it stays in my office, and then every once in a while I do break it out and use it, and it just has a it just has a card that slides into it, and so I can just take that out and put it into the computer. So the main thing for me was, when I decided to start taking the photos, I thought, okay, I used to get my photos printed every 3 months. So every 3 months I would download all my photos, upload them to Snapfish, get them printed. I would have about 300 photos. I would get them all, I would sort them all, I would start to scrapbook them all. Okay, so the biggest thing for me is you have to decide how you're going to print photos. So once you take your photos, once you decide how you're going to take them, now you have to decide when you're going to print them. So the biggest thing for me is when I decided, okay, you know, you can either print weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. I thought, okay, I'm going to have to gather all these devices up and get all the photos off of them and get them onto the computer and then print them and then on and on and on. And it felt really overwhelming. So I had to just decide, you know, I had to let go of something. You know, I had to say yes to something and no to something else. So what works for me, and the best thing to do is you have to look at your life and what is going to work for you. So for me, Friday mornings is when it works best to print photos. My husband works late, so he's home on Friday mornings. He doesn't leave until 9 o'clock in the morning, and then he doesn't get home until 8 o'clock at night. And so on Friday mornings, I know I'm going to have help with the kids first thing in the morning. So I just say, I need all of the, you know, I'm printing pictures today. I need all of the devices. And so he does that. And the reason we decided to do this, you can just hook this to your computer. You can just use the USB cord and hook it right to the computer and then transfer it. But that was a lot. It just didn't work for me. Like always finding the cord, always having it, trying to remember, trying to hook it up. It didn't work. And so that's when we did this. We just bought the little adapter. And so he just transfers all his pictures to the card and hands me the card, and I put this in the computer, and then he has a ton of pictures on it. He never deletes it. So it does take me a little bit. I have to scroll down, but I know about the last time, what the last photos were. So I just scroll down, and I'm going to show you guys this on the computer, but I'm just walking you through my process. So I scroll down, I grab the photos that are for that week, and then usually it's not that many. You know, it's anywhere from 2 to 10 or 12 or 15, depending on what we've done and how many photos he has taken. So I drop those into a folder, which I'll show you guys later. So then I give him his phone back and his card. And the thing is that sometimes he'll just leave the card with me. If I haven't got to it that morning, he can just leave this with me. So I hand him back his stuff, okay? So then for this camera that I have been using the last couple weeks, it just has a card in it. So it just has a card. I pull it out and I take the photos off. And then what I usually do is I'll delete the photos from that week off the card, because I now know that I have them on my computer, and then I'm going to upload them, and then I'm going to have them backed up in 2 places. Now, a really sad thing happened this week as I was transferring over photos. I took them off the card. I deleted them from the card and I moved on, and they accidentally got deleted from my computer. It was just this really freak thing that happened, and they were already deleted off the card. And I know you can get them off the card if they've been deleted, but it was kind of really a nightmare. And I had 80 photos, and I ended up being able to recover about 50 of them. So I'm okay with that. The thing is that I'm going to remember to do now is not to delete the photos off the card until I have actually physically uploaded them to the place that I print them, and they're off my computer and backed up. So then I do that, and then for my phone, I just use the USB, plug it into the computer, and I pull those photos off. And then if I have any photos on this that I've taken, I just grab the card. Okay, so now that they're off of my device, you know, all of my devices, I've gotten all the photos off and they're on my computer. I will show you guys how I organize my photos on the computer. And this was a really hard system for me to figure out, and I for a long time really struggled with the photos on the computer and uploading them and naming the folders. And for years now I've just had this, like, all of our photos for 1 year were always in one folder, but then they, you know, I never knew how to organize them online. I use Snapfish, snapfish.com, and I've used them for years. And so all my photos are backed up online. And so to me, it's really important to have your photos backed up in a lot of different places. I've lost chunks of photos that I can't get back because they weren't properly backed up. And so I'll take just a minute to say it's really, really important to do that. And this year I finally found a really good system for me that works where everything is labeled on my computer the same way it's labeled in Snapfish, and then that same system is carried into my home. So literally this happened where I was working on Violet's album and I needed a photo and I knew what month it was taken in. So I just went back into our Project Life album. I went to the month, okay, and then I went and looked for that photo. I found that photo. Well, because I do Project Life by week, I was able to see exactly which week that photo was taken in. So then I went to my computer, went to snapfish.com, went to that week, found that photo and reprinted it. Okay, so that was huge for me, and I'm going to show you that system so it's a lot easier to see it laid out, to see what I'm talking about. But then I really feel like I back up, I have them on the computer and then I back them up on a hard drive, and then I have a specific card. So you can get these cards for $9.99, $15, depending on how big you want the memory you want them. So like I have one of these cards that is for my business. It's business documents that's backed up, and then I have it on an external hard drive, and then I have it on my computer. So what I've started doing is getting one of these a year. We're getting close to the end of the year, so I'll buy one of these and I'll put all of 2013's photos and videos, because I do take videos as well. So I'll put all of those on one card. I'll keep the little plastic thing and I'll write 2013 photos and videos, and then I'll put this into the place where I store all of these. So say if we had, you know, a house fire, we were leaving very suddenly, and I couldn't grab my scrapbook albums, or I couldn't grab the physical photos I have in my home, I could grab the box that had all of these and I would have all of our photos. So that's another way to keep them backed up. So I have them backed up in several places. Okay, so let's I'm gonna stop the video here, and then we're gonna go, I'm gonna show you guys on the computer actually exactly what I do, and then how I label them for the year, and then how I also label them here in my house. And then the next video that we'll do is I'm gonna talk about how many photos I take, how I choose which, you know, what photos to put in my albums, and what photos I don't put in my albums. So I'll be right back, guys.